agentic browsers have become a very, very important part of my day-to-day.
What do you do with them?
That's a bit personal, isn't it? Some things have built-in AI, some things don't. Some things have built-in integrations, some things don't. Some software is just out there in the ether that just has no connection to AI whatsoever. It's lovely to be able to unify two pieces of software that are not integrated or connected in any sort of way. I'm looking for sponsorships for my channel, and I wanted to improve my CRM. My what's CRM stand for? Customer relations management, something like that. So I need to track, like, am I in contact with them? Have they signed? Is there a video associated with them? This and that. I need to create this whole system. So I had an agent. I had Comet creating that system. It went off on the internet. It did research on like what a good workflow is. Created it in Notion because I had Notion open in one browser. I then had another one running on NAN. NAN was working, and I said to that agent, create me a workflow that reads from my Gmail, understands whether the email that I've just received has anything to do with a sponsorship, go find it in the Notion database and update that card if it's there. If it's not, create a new card. So I didn't even think about NAN. I love NAN. I didn't even think about it. I just told my agent to go and do it. And then I also had Trey building me an app where all I do is dump a username. So I just dump Kabaza into the input field, and it will go off, use the YouTube API, look through all of your descriptions on any sponsorships, because let's say we're in the same industry, right? I'm just going to go and contact the same sponsors you've been sponsored by, and then add that to a database or add that to my Notion. So I did an export button to Notion, so it just connected to Notion, and I added all of those cards to my CRM, you know. So I had like 3, maybe even 4 agents going off at some point. 2 of those were in the browser. Oh yeah, and then I had another one going through the Notion database and then drafting up emails, personalized emails to each of the cards inside of Notion, each of the clients or sponsors inside of Notion. And then if we've written an email for them, move that card over. So that was kind of cross-pollinating as well. So long story short, I'm very much in on the agentic stuff. And I spoke to my friend about it, who's just been using it today, and he's just like, because it takes a little bit of time. This stuff, sometimes you need to tweak your prompt. If it doesn't work for you, this is what separates the men from the boys, right? If something doesn't work for you and you just kind of like, oh, this is shit, you give up on the first hurdle, like you're a boy. Right, you've got to give it another thing. Like it won't work, and you will get frustrated. But like then you'll start to learn. You make it work, or you just learn the quirks of it. You know, it goes back to what we were saying just before this about me not knowing anything about search tool to half an hour later just being like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like that transition, that growth is just so important in this industry. Like you cannot be someone who just gives up on the first hurdle. So not everything is going to be the way that you think it is. Not everything's going to work the way you want it to. And it's just about, you've got to now mold around these tools. You've got to, especially in technology, because technology moves so fast, we've got to be adaptable and enthusiastic about learning new ways of doing things. Don't get me wrong, I'm as lazy as the rest of you, right? I love it when you just like, you can walk in and you just know the industry, or if you walk into a client's room and you just, you just have to use the same words, it's so nice. But we're not in an industry where that happens a lot at all. Saying all that, Perplexity have just released the browse safe benchmark, which I do think is the first of its kind, which is obviously, as it says, it's a benchmark to register the kind of safeness of agentic browsers. And this gives me confidence, because I said this to my friend and he was like, no way am I giving an AI browser my email. And I'm just trusting it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's so much to lose. Yeah. There's so much for them to lose if they mess this up, that I'm pretty much like, just use it. And heck, if I'm rich and famous by the time all of this stuff comes out and I never need to work a day in my life, it's like, whatever. But That's for the future people to worry about and sort out. I'm living my best life. So yes, checking if it contains any malicious HTML and things like this. I know Claude were very cautious about the whole thing. But they didn't release any kind of like benchmarks or any update at all to know where they got to on it. They were kind of like playing the Apple game of just taking a bit of a step back, dipping their toes in, and just seeing where it goes. So yeah, I'm just happy to see this. I'm happy, like, this benefits you, it benefits me, like it just benefits us all that people are taking this stuff seriously. Because let me tell you, once you start getting a rhythm with these agentic browsers, and you start seeing the benefits to them, then it will be down to things like this that actually that make it all worthwhile. And if there's just one thing I could say about the agentic browser stuff, don't give it the thing that you need done in that moment. Like the description I gave to my friend was, if you could come back to that task in half an hour and it has completely messed it up, or it's not understood it, or it didn't work, and it doesn't matter, then those are the sorts of tasks you want to give these AI things. It shouldn't be something that's like needs to be done that day, and it is like it needs to be done in a short amount of time. It should just be stuff that can just happen, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, let me just tweak this and
I wanted to ask that how long the time frames are, because when you say like building a system, like researching, they can do it really fast, but when it comes to like clicking around, it can take some time until they analyze everything.
Yeah, because it's got to take a screenshot, send that off, analyze it, get a response back. So it's very, very slow. So don't ever give it anything that you need done in a short amount of time, because it can take a long amount of time, and then it could also fail. So it's just like, so then you look at yourself then and be like, well, maybe I gave it too much. Maybe I need to tweak this. Maybe I need to like do this step by step. Maybe I just need to give it a very simple thing, like, create a one column, or maybe just the first thing is like create a Notion card with all the properties. That's the easy thing. And then give it another task. Again, you're just dipping in. And that's why I had 3 or 4 going off at one time, because I would dip into that one and then come out and do something else and dip into that. And, it's not mission critical stuff that just absolutely needs to happen. It can fail and whatever, which, once your brain starts locking into that stuff, you realize there's probably a lot of things you can do that way, because we're just so used to like needing to see the thing that we're working on. Once your brain locks into that kind of side quest delegation, you start to realize, oh, I could just set an agent to do that. Again, the thing that I said, just go through all these cards, write up an email and set it as a draft inside a Gmail. I didn't set it to send it. I said set it as a draft, because then I, the human, is the last point of thing. I read it, adjust it, and then I send it. It's a cognitive.
Does it
change.
do like the tab change, like going from Notion to?
Yeah, so it'll either open up its new tab and it will do the jump between. It might even figure out a more efficient way of doing it. That's what my mate said. He was having a real hard time with it, and he was like texting me really frustrated. He was like, what's the point in this thing? And literally 3 messages later is like, holy shit, it's just figured out a more efficient way to do it, and it's done it. It's like, you just got to work through it a little bit, massage it a little bit, and then you start to tailor your responses to these things. So so it will manage the different tabs. You can also link integrations with it. So you can link your Gmail, you can link your Notion, you can link all this stuff. So it doesn't do it's not done through the tabs, it's done through the API layer. So it's done through the background layers. So you don't always need to have the tabs open for it to be able to manipulate and control this software, especially if it doesn't need to click. I mean, as you said, the clicking and the moving and the scrolling, that all takes a lot of time. So if it can just do it behind the scenes through APIs, it's going to choose to do that. Anything on that?
No, but I'm installing Comet.
Well, you can do ChatGPT Atlas, but
I have Atlas. I have
Dia.
Dia. But I want to give Comet a try.
This is part of a larger conversation on my show, Cmd+AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.